This week's episode is brought to you by Balls of 10 Season 2, Bigger, Bolder, Badass. Streaming now on YouTube at Post Hysteria, or just go to posthysteria.com and get caught up on this season of Balls of 10 Season 2.
Are we live? Are we here? Oh.
Why are
Who's on first?
Why are you always surprised when we're live? That part I haven't kind of figured out.
I don't know, because it's like, I don't know when it starts. I don't know when it ends. I'm just talking.
It's a fluid thing. We just kind of go into
All
one
right,
discussion and the next. I mean,
all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
All right.
Anyways,
Hi.
welcome to the short of it. I'm Tony.
I'm Rochelle.
And our short of it podcast, the short of it podcast.
Yeah, it has a proper
V. Not to be confused with V, who's just like
who's our idiot producer.
V. V, I like you. I don't
like
know
him too.
Whatever Rochelle's issue is. Anyways, I'm really excited about this podcast because yet it is another part of the filmmaking process.
Right.
Because of course we know the short of it talks about short films, content creators of short projects,
Short tempers.
short people. So
Right.
we kind of, but today we actually, I think we're going to have some impromptu singing kind of jumping out of this.
Sick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And do you want to know why?
Okay.
Okay. It's because we have Malik Williams, Grammy Award winning, Oscar nominate. No, I'm kidding, but probably at some point you will be. I speak things into existence.
Speak glory on this
We
podcast.
do speak glory on this project.
Notches.
Okay.
Malik Williams.
Do you have some noms for Oscars?
No nom
Okay.
yet. I need
Okay.
the EGOT.
Yeah, you
But-
will
We were
get that.
just talking about
We
that.
were just talking about the ego.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I
my
can sing.
shelf isn't as full as you know who.
Yeah, I know. It's
But
like,
it's getting
show
there.
off.
It's
I
getting
got
there.
nothing.
With some Emmys and Tellies and all that.
35 years means nothing to you. No.
What do you mean?
Well, you say I'm showing off. I didn't just get them in a week.
Well, no, it just makes those of us who don't have them feel bad about ourselves.
Okay. And
I feel pretty good right now. You can speak for yourself over there. That's all I know. I just showed up here and I'm feeling pretty confident
Yeah,
right now.
wow.
As you should.
Clearly, I have some insecurity issues.
But anyways, Malik's here because has another kind of unique foot in the filmmaking process in that you are a amazing music scorer.
Composer, I think
Composer.
that's what that's called.
It's
Composing,
composer?
right?
Okay.
We'll go for that.
All right. And so yeah, let's just get started.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you want to start with?
Well, I mean, I think you were beginning to tell about what you wanted to name the podcast, which I was not going to.
Yeah, let me throw this at you, Malik. Okay, you're taking too long. Okay.
Whoa!
So-
Wow! Cut me. Oh.
Cut you off. Yeah. So when we were thinking about this podcast, V not so much. But when we were thinking
He's
about
not good at
Cutting
this
my
thing.
eyes over this way. Let me pretend I'm paying attention. I'm looking for a cue.
So I thought a title that would be great is Indie Streets, like indies, like independent content creators streets, because the hustle is real, the grind is real, and someone didn't like the
I
title.
felt that was asking people to cancel me. I can't say Indie's Streets and sound cool like she does. I just sound like a white person trying to be cool.
Because you're a white person.
Yeah.
But when I heard that, I was like, yeah, you could be my neighbor growing up in Roxbury and Dorchester.
See?
Yeah.
Right? And that's a big thing for me when I think about community. Like, I'm like, nope, if you look different from me, you're my community. Yeah. And, you know, if I'm advocating for me, I get to advocate for you as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they told me how ghetto you were anyway, so, like,
I don't think we're supposed to use that word.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that one of those
you
words?
can. I can't. I can't even laugh or anything, I don't think. Can I? I don't know.
I'm lucky somebody can't just like...
me, like, black people don't do that. Anything that I do that's stupid or weird.
Okay.
Oh, I hope she's filming it, too.
Yeah. She's always like, black people don't do that. Black people don't
you
kiss
have a
their
dog?
dogs.
A dog?
A dog.
I do, yeah.
Do you kiss your dog?
Black people don't do that. What are you thinking?
Let's go.
Oh,
Let's go. I have been.
I forehead bump my dog. That's pretty much the closest I get because he's a
awesome.
little Labradoodle.
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
so I'm trying to like, I'm at,
Yeah,
I'm at
no,
your level,
we
meeting
don't
you where you
kiss
are,
Yeah,
doggy.
she tells me this one day, like, apropos of nothing. You know, black people don't kiss their dogs, as if I kiss my dog. Like, I never said I kissed my dog. I didn't say anything about
No.
it. Because I'm white, she is.
I did.
In
I
there,
did.
tongue kissing my dog, and I don't know why.
And her dogs are like
That's an issue.
horses.
Oh, really?
They're like the biggest
Oh, yeah.
dogs.
Yeah, we definitely
Average.
kiss those dogs.
And,
Yeah. But the assumption that I do, that's
so we can bring Indie Streets back to the
no
table?
I can't do
All
it.
right.
I can't indie street. I just like I'm a dork. Like I'm the nerdiest person.
You are.
Yes. So on top of being pale, I also can't pull off anything like, yo, what up? You know, like I just sound like an idiot.
Well, okay. There was no like
I'm
subtitle.
trying to figure
It
out
was
what kind of
just-
accent I need to be here.
You're good.
But the short of it is more of a broad conversation.
It is.
Right? So although I do like Indie Streets,
Yeah.
I think that's very interesting, unique. But the short of it is we can go anywhere with it.
We can.
Yeah.
And where we're going to go today is in music composing.
Hope we return.
So tell me, how did you get, I mean, I love music probably as more than most people. I can't play an instrument. I can't sing, although I think I can. I can dance. And I never thought like, oh, well, let me try to do this. So what was it about that moment for you that you said, I want to do this?
Grew up in a musical family. I'm trying to think because this could be a long story. No, like so I grew up around a musical family, but I didn't really have any I wasn't really nurtured with music. Kind of learned from being around my siblings that went to like Dorchester High. They had a great music program. I was probably like 12 or something like that. You know, my father played music. My mother still sings. And she did ballet. So we won't talk about that, but I learned how to plie and all that stuff when I was younger too.
Did you go to the Elma Lewis School of Performing Arts?
No, but we were all around there. So I was
Okay.
young then, but I think my mother probably went there and some of my
Okay.
sisters as well. But so I was so bad as a kid in the summertime when I was like a teenager, 12, 13, 14, and I never made it outside. So I had this old guitar in the closet that it had 4 strings on it. I didn't know it was supposed to have 6 strings. I learned every song off the radio as a bass player, and I didn't know I was actually playing 4 strings. So I just gravitated towards bass. And as I started exploring the bass with some of my brother's friends and stuff like that, that's how I kind of got into it. As a vocalist, I started doing that from really young. I was probably 4 or 5 years old, but I was terrified to sing back then. And my father used to make me sing, and I remember crying, and that was just bad.
Oh.
It was just really bad. Yeah, I felt it. So like, it's one way. Yeah, so we won't go too deep, but that was my first getting exposed to that, and I didn't really realize as far as creating music until I was probably in late teens or so.
Okay.
Just having ideas and recording things, you know, cassette players.
What was that one song that you said, I want to do this. I want to do this for the rest of my life?
The original artist that I was really fond of was like Al Green back in the day.
Really?
Or Christopher Cross. or somebody like that.
Okay.
WRKO, you remember that?
Yeah,
station?
yeah.
Sheena Easton.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things she did. Is it Sheena Easton? But I think probably Prince, honestly, just because of the diversity of everything.
Purple Rain.
And
That's what did it for
the
me.
girls like Prince. I'm
Yes.
like, no, why do you like him or whatever? But he was so dope. Like he was
He,
like, okay,
he
I
was
get
like the coolest. Like you couldn't put him in a box, but he was just so cool.
Yes.
Just so cool. Ah.
it. But I didn't understand what people saw about Prince. I saw musicality. I saw musicianship. I saw that stuff. And my brother that's older than me, that he's not here anymore, but that my brother, he was amazing musician. Probably the baddest musician to this day that I've ever met.
Wow.
You know, really, really good. And he was out of Dorchester High. All those guys from, I should say all his friends, they were all really, really great musicians. And that was also the tail end of like bands and everything else, like in Boston in particular. So there wasn't really a lot of people that were, playing guitar and bass and keys and singing in bands on stage and all that stuff. So, so I was like young enough to kind of experience that, and be in bands at that time as well, where we played like multiple instruments. At that time, I went from bass to guitar to singing and keys and all that stuff. So it became kind of fun at that point because I was like, oh, shoot, I play all these instruments. I guess I can just sit in my room and make songs. And we get into digital technology. And again, like, I think it was probably a 4-track machine, but we had to play all the parts all the way through, play the whole bass line all the way through, the keys all the way through, and even recording vocals. So I had I look at this little mixer over here, but I had like a little 8-track mixer, but understanding like how to lock up a tape machine, using SMPTE, which is time code, right? So using that, so I had like 7 tracks, but I used to record literally like 20, 30 tracks of vocals with that one little machine bouncing things back and forth. So when I think about it now, and that was the first music that I ever got placed anywhere on TV, but nobody knew it was a cassette tape. So you had to be able to kind of engineer that to get the output.
Wow.
That you would hear next to another record that was done in a big studio. So I take pride in that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I
was
know
a work.
a lot of people do
was a
it
lot of
now,
work.
but because there's computers. And the computer will make up for a lot of shortcomings.
Yeah.
And it's I remember having friends who had those like 4-track, 8-track recorders, and it's like so much harder, I think, than what people have to do now. And you can also just record little bits and drop them in. And
there was no cutting and pasting back in the day, but you could actually use samplers and like get a certain vocal mix. Yeah. Maybe it is that big, that all the vocals that get recorded, then sample that, and then you can kind of drop that in. But that was still more as technology evolved to be able to do that. Yeah. So, and I look at that now, and that's why I kind of see things differently. I see the process differently, like remember splicing tape?
Yes.
We joke about that now, but that's what they did in the big studios at the 2-inch, 2-inch, 1-inch, 3/4, that little razor blade and cutting tape and laying it on top, and we did that.
Y'all youngins don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I really sound old.
No, we often have to give our younger audience members a little life lesson in that, we didn't have computers.
Yeah.
We
in our
didn't.
pockets.
Yeah.
We didn't have them at all.
Our mixtapes were WILD radio, hitting pause and record again with the 2 fingers, because you had to hit record and play at the same time, or else it wouldn't record.
And waiting for that song to come on the radio.
Again,
waiting for that song.
Waiting.
Yes.
Hope they announce it before it comes on.
Yeah.
Right? And you're we spent all day waiting to record one song.
All day.
Wow.
So you grew up with all this musical influence, and you have a famous relative in your family that is...
no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah. Let's just say that growing up, and we're the same age, I think. And there was this new singing group out of the Orchard, is it Orchard Park?
Yeah, OP.
Roxbury area. And someone that is related to you, it was part of that group.
What was the group?
Rochelle's
Yeah.
like, what?
Nobody tells me anything. There's no paper
Candy
from the
girl.
stupid producer. There's
Oh, my
nothing.
world. You look so sweet. You're a special treat.
This is
New
why-
edition.
Oh, come on. It's too long. I'm losing faith in you.
See?
Pull it together, Rochelle.
Oh, sorry.
Name that
I was
tune.
even doing the dance like steps
Well,
underneath.
I'm like,
here.
okay, boy bands, which one?
Yeah, new edition.
Wow.
But anyways,
Yeah.
Well, who's the relative?
who's
Like
the
what
famous cuz
Yeah.
was married to and gosh, woman,
Are you doing?
Whitney Houston.
That's what I thought, but there's only one, and I will. It's like there's
Oh,
no.
you can't even hear her. You missed that part?
All right. Anyways, you also had a. You also
Wait,
have
who was
a
married to Whitney?
girl.
What are you talking about? Like,
This is gonna be a
catch
long
me up. It
podcast.
is gonna be because this is again like what I watched all of the documentaries on Whitney. Are you talking about
Bobby Brown?
Bobby Brown?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
That's your cousin?
Pretty excited about that. Yeah, I learned a lot hanging around these guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you had see. I'm gonna like throw down your whole resume. I had a chance to kind of like do a pre-interview
Really?
with Malik the other day, and we had an awesome conversation, and we really kind of like solved a
I
lot
love
of
how
life's
I'm like getting
lessons
left out
and
of
everything.
The podcast.
I know.
It's like I'm just the sidekick.
But
At the pool.
not only did you have these musical influences in your family, but you were able to then like start touring with folks too. So just name drop a couple of things. So
Sweet, yeah, do it.
so Rochelle can be
I'll be so
impressed.
impressed.
No, the Bobby thing was interesting because way back when I was recording some of the guys in the band, they started a studio. And so we ended up, or at least they ended up working at Bobby's studio. I went there with MCA Records because I was dealing with a lot of the technical stuff that we talked about. So I ended up going there, rigging up computers, a lot of interfaces in studios, all that stuff, being part of different production things there. And so that experience was pretty crazy just overall, you know, but it was like, you know, TLC and Babyface and Keith Sweat and all these groups that were around then. And then I came back home. I got a call to go out on tour with Jordan Knight from New Kids on the Block.
Oh, wow.
So I did that as his production manager. And that was very interesting. And I went under one condition that I'd still be able to be creative on the road. So I had my gear with me. It was just crazy. You know, it's like, you know, my computer and portable printers and all this stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so I did all that, which was really, really interesting. But then I realized I didn't want to do that, you know, and it was super exhausting living out of a suitcase and, you know, different countries and sometimes, you know, 2 or 3 time zones in one day, which is super exhausting. So you don't even know where people are. So I was the guy on stage, you know, they're like, you know, when the singer says, you know, thank you, you know, Ohio or whatever. Yeah. So I'm the person putting the name of the
where they are.
city, in front of the microphone so Jordan could know.
Yeah.
Or I was doing all his testing, all his, you know, sound check testing stuff. And plus I was an engineer on a lot of the gigs out in the audience. So I was still a production manager, but also engineering a lot of the gigs out there. You know, it was like 30, 40,000 people, especially like all the KISS concerts that happened here. So that was a fun experience, but it really took me out of my creative self. And that wasn't good. And I came home and I didn't know where I wanted to stay. If I wanted to be in Boston, it was like Boston, Canada, New York, LA, someplace like that. You know, New York is too crazy. Canada was cool kind of here, but it's across the border, right? LA is too superficial. You know, it's like really not the place. And so I ended up staying here. So, which was cool. Just moved south of Boston and that was that.
So once you realized that, you know, that's not what you wanted to do, and I imagine that's where the great money was, and you had to kind of get back into your creative space, what did that time in your life look like?
Luckily, because I was kind of self-contained as a singer-songwriter, a lot of the catalog that I was saying, like a lot of the songs that I wrote, I started getting more into like music licensing and soap operas. So Young and the Restless, All My Children, shows like that, MTV, like Cribs, Pimp My Ride, Jersey Shore,
No way.
LA Ink, like a
He's
lot of
very
those.
impressed right now.
All the real healthy ones.
Watched your.
Yeah, Kardashians, like a lot of these shows that we worked on. But it's the difference between working on a record versus working in a studio with an artist. That's like, production in a studio, pitching songs. A lot of times, like the Young and the Restless thing was they would temp a project or temp a TV show with something like Usher or someone, and then they couldn't afford it. And then, I'd get a call and say, hey, you got anything that sounds like whatever it is? And it could be anything from like R&B to rock, pop. And I'd lie, typically.
Of course I have.
I think I have something like that. And then I'd stay up overnight and record it, and then it'd be in a TV show the next day. So then I got good at that, and it was grueling, just like creating anything, right?
Yeah.
Laying down on the floor and hoping that you have an idea. But for most cases, that's how I kind of function, like, okay, just go bang it out, get it done. And literally in my mind, I'm like, okay, I need drums, I need a bass, I need keys, I need vocals. And I go and I have like a monitor and everything in my booth, in my keyboard to operate my computer and everything inside of my vocal booth.
Oh, wow.
So I can actually record and mix inside of my vocal booth.
Jeez.
Whoa,
So
that's pretty cool.
something that I put together just because of that. Because most people like pulling the mic over to their setup, right? To like record something or sing. And so I kind of did that, early on, just like rigged up everything to mirror my my console inside of the booth. Wow. So I was able to kind of do that in again, working on documentaries or movies and things like that. It requires just different. It's a different business model in a way. Like if you're working with film and TV, even working with a producer from a film is different from working with a producer on a commercial project for like a TV commercial. The roles are different. If it's a film, it's the director that really is kind of dictating what goes on. If it's a commercial, project for like Progressive or whatever it could be, you're still working with a creative team, but it's mostly the producers that are giving you parameters of what you can do or not, and I'm cool with doing both, it just says, I feel like I have really good ears, so I can hear things that people say and figure out what that sounds like, like you're singing you were doing it, kind of like not like that. I don't know. I just want to make sure you have some contrast of what we're doing. No, but to be able to like really think of like, what does that sound like? What's that emotion sound like? Like what instrument does that? What instrument makes you, see something and then feel whatever that is? And that became really fun to me.
Yeah.
So
I find that so fascinating because just kind of going back to Prince, that opening of Purple Rain was like, it was like a voice to me. It really became like this signature, this idea that there is sadness, but then there is joy, and how do you find it? Like, that, I'm not going to do that.
You just did.
go ahead.
I just did.
Yeah.
And we don't own
beloved.
the rights to Prince music.
We're gathered
so-
to get to this thing called the short of it.
So how do you like even begin? Like, I give you a project and it's a action movie about this dynamic duo host team, and they go on this string of bank robberies and
fund their films.
To fund their films. And
good
then
story.
when they have spare time, they do a podcast.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah. So like, how do you even begin to like think about what the theme and the tone and the pace, like how does that work?
I think, the characters, number one. Who are these characters? What's the background? What's the setting?
I'm the cool one.
You
I'm
might
the
be the
nerd.
cool one.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
But it also depends. And, the short of it, as I said, could be talking about anything, right? So we'd have to look at whatever that script is and figure out, what do we want people to feel on that? Now, if it's a theme, then that could be really fun. And it really just depends on who you are. Like, what sound do you resonate with? Are you like a indie pop duo? Are you guys like funksters?
So we're an pop duo.
Stuff like that. Is this?
Get out my white person guitar.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I would literally see her do that and be
Yes.
like, "Oh, what does that sound like?
Yeah.
What is she playing right
Yeah.
now?" And then because, you know, being a musician, I could say, okay. And honestly, I look at things like the timing of her arm going up and down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Like something like that dictates tempo to me. And that's what happens when we see things on film. We see a car driving by, or we see something on screen. The pace that someone's talking can really dictate what something sounds like, or the genre, right? There's certain tempos that, you know, genres fit into. And then you figure out, like, is this an urban thing? I look at it and say, like, I don't like it to be like, oh, you're a black person.
Yeah.
You identify as black, I think. I think that's what we were going. But no, like, you're a black person. Well, okay, you're a black person. Let's not confuse anyone. I'm like, why am I talking to her?
You feel bad for me because of my lack of melanin?
No, just because no, just because where you look a certain way optically doesn't mean that that's what your theme is. Right? And so I think that's a big deal when it comes down to scoring anything, because it's not like some people are like, oh, this is like this urban thing because it's set in Roxbury, or it's set in some,
Right.
you know, in the Bronx or whatever, versus being like, okay, this story is dictating whatever that is. You know, so it's almost the same as a horror film when you kind of know when somebody's going to die.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that way,
Right.
right? It can be a bit more, you know, spontaneous than
Yeah.
that.
Don't announce it before it happens with the music.
Yeah, don't announce
Yeah.
it or whatever. Were you talking about
I
that?
call that the Jaws effect.
I was just thinking Jaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jaws effect. Dun 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 dun, and then, you know.
Yeah.
And then it happens. Yeah.
But for me, as I want to be looked at as a composer, like in using that big word, because of that. Because when I first started doing music, honestly, I kind of got pigeonholed into this like urban thing, in this R&B. I was the R&B guy, and then I remember I did this. Actually, it was a Progressive insurance commercial, and somebody they sent me a brief, and they were like, "Hey, man, check that out. You want to take a crack at it, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, you don't even know like what I do." But it's all
Yeah.
good. Because I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah.
And then it was like an indie pop, Euro indie pop thing. And that's what I ended up creating. And it's funny because I read it, I was so tired. It's like 11 o'clock at night or something like that. And I lay down on my couch in the studio, and I had my computer there. I don't even know what I was supposed to be doing, but I saw the email come in. I was like, oh man, what does he want me? Oh shoot, okay, that sounds kind of cool, you know? And I just got up. I just got really inspired and got up. I was super tired. I remember just being really, really tired. I wanted to pass out. But that's what music does, and that's what the arts does, right? That's what music, you know, blast of music right now will be up dancing and partying and stuff like that. Yeah. And so it really does kind of have that physical effect over your body. So me as a creative, being able to say, oh, shoot, I got ideas. What it is, just switch my brain on.
Yeah.
You know? So when your brain is thinking, and it's not like you can really go to sleep, right? Yeah. You're just going to stay up and do whatever. And sometimes that's good, and a lot of times that's bad.
Right. Except for V. He's always sleeping. He's actually sleeping now.
Exactly.
You're getting it.
I can't catch a break.
I think you and I need to have a conversation.
I would love that.
Yeah.
So, like, and you don't have to, like, name the names unless you want to. I mean, we're protected here. This is our opinion. But what film, like, nailed it for you in terms of the music score? And I have one in my head that I can think of, but which one, like, you can say, yeah, that worked?
Well, one that isn't so dynamic, but I really love, my favorite movie is Gladiator.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Hans Zimmer. And Hans Zimmer does just a lot of amazing work. For me, it was kind of the story. So I'm super biased anyways, because I just kind of love like medieval, you know?
Yeah.
But the story, that story, number one, in the first Gladiator, not the second. The second was still like so-so. I watched it, but it was hard to kind of watch it. I have only watched it once, put it that way. I watch Gladiator like 10 times a week. Literally.
Goodness.
Sometimes it pops up. I don't know if it's out a certain algorithm somewhere. But no, like the music was just so, it was just so moving just throughout the whole thing, you know, and you have like these guys, you know, killing each other out there. And this music is just kind of dictating this. And this really just the love for his family and the love for his wife and his child, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought that was really, really powerful, that music for that.
At what point are you generally brought into a project? Like, is it usually after it's picture locked, or does it depend on what kind of project it is, or like how do you get integrated?
Yeah, on commercial projects, if it's like a TV commercial or any kind of campaign like that, I'd love to be brought in early. So I kind of know, because a lot of times the editor is cutting to a certain sound, even if it's not exactly what they're going to end up with, but it's going to support that story that way. A lot of times with film, especially if I don't know, like I'm not in close proximity with the editor, a lot of times they're tempering it with whatever, which is what I suggest too. Yeah. I might give someone a playlist of a bunch of music that I think works, but I don't know a lot of times because I'm not really seeing what they shot. So a lot of times I'll depend on the editor. If I've worked with them before, which in some cases, you know, there's a trust factor there where they're like, okay, you do what you do, and that's cool. And I love it when that happens, but the director still reserves the right to say nah. And then the editor, of course, before it gets to the director, because the editor's cutting away in the middle of the night, and so they sometimes might just say, you know, this worked, this didn't work. That's happened to me a lot, whatever. But if they just temp it, you can just pull something from anywhere out of your own library and just temp the project with that. Yeah. And then we go back again and then go in and I create something that's going to be original for that. But then at that point, I know the theme of what they're looking for, the certain sound that they're going for, the tempo and all the rest of that stuff. The instrumentation matters in a lot of cases, and try to do something unique and different enough at the same time while I'm doing that, right? Because sometimes we call it demo love. So if you temp a project with something that you just that works, especially the client, a lot of times, and this is mostly on the commercial side, where the client will say, oh my God, I love what you did. And then they can't really use that music because either it's not cleared or it's not really what's supposed to be there. So sometimes you kind of get caught where now you have to go and like kind of relearn that and get the client used to that again.
Yeah. Or do something so close to it that it's not really yours, right?
Which I've done. No.
It is?
Yeah, that's how I got into it. We call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. Right? So
love.
Yeah. No, that's literally like, again, back in soap opera days, right? When somebody says, you got something like this, and I'm like, okay, again, I know the genre, I know the tempo, I can listen to the sounds, especially if it's urban hip hop and things like that. Really, everything came from a certain time period, right? Drums or whatever. But especially if it's like urban or hip hop, there's, you know, drums are distinctive, snare drums are distinctive, hi-hats and the programming of a hi-hat is distinctive. A lot of times, keyboards that somebody might use is distinctive. Is it real bass or is it synth bass? Things like that, where in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I know how to do that. Because you might not hear exactly what I hear. You listen to a song that feels good. Yeah. I'm listening to parts. I'm listening to elements within that makes you feel that way. So as long as I have that same palette to paint with, then you're going to hear it and be like, oh my God. Because you don't even know what you love about that song. I found that that's a case a lot. Because people aren't musical and they don't know why they like that thing. Right. So the closest I can be to that sound palette, and I do some interesting things, you know, like I'll put some bottom in there because I'm from the hood, you know, me and you, right? No, but I'll put some low end, some 808, some low end in my music a lot of times, even if it's really pretty, even if it's a ballad or whatever, I'll still put signature things in there, and I'll do things with vocals, and I'll engineer and mix things a certain way. So there's movement within the song, and then people don't really know what they feel or why they feel that. But that's just my thing, and I'll do that. So depending on what system you listen to it on, you'll be like, oh, that's kind of heavy. You're like, that bass wouldn't be normal. Like that thing. Or I'll layer basses and everything else. I can't tell everyone my tricks. But no, I'll do those kind of things just to touch on emotions from different people with different backgrounds, right? That listen to things differently. So it can still be pretty. It can be a nice song, but then depending on who's listening to it, you know, are you going to hear it outside with the car driving by or something like that? But for TV, there's all kinds of technical specs as well that you have to deal with. But I just kind of do that just to put little elements of who I am into it. Yeah.
Do you have this like treasure trove of songs that you don't have to like, or are you always creating from scratch with a new project?
No, I have a library of music as well. So which is what I might potentially use to temp. You know, I have projects right now that I'm working on that kind of start out that way. You know, like here's a playlist of 10 or 20 tracks, depending on what somebody thinks they want. And then they'll go ahead and use that, and an editor will go ahead and temp that. Maybe even take pieces of a couple of different songs and just temp it just to get the story out.
Yeah.
And then go back, independent on budgets and things like that as well. But that's just called technically stock music at that point.
Okay.
You know, library music, stock music. So I have a lot of music like that. You know, and budgets in this industry is a big deal, right? So not everyone has budgets for things.
Yeah.
So I try to find interesting ways because I might have all my sessions, my multi-track sessions, so I can open something up if you like it, and then I can kind of, instead of creating from scratch, I can go and rearrange and edit from there.
How many instruments do you play?
I tried to learn recorder. You know recorders?
Yep.
I got one.
Buns.
I go, yeah. So I can make sound with that. I started as a bass player. Started as a vocalist. Let me get that straight. That's an instrument, my number one instrument. Bass, guitar, keys, cello. I had to take cello for a little while. My son plays cello. So I kind of learned that a little bit. And violin a little bit, not so great that I'm, cello I actually really like. Percussions, there's various percussions. to
Someone
play.
else plays a little percussion.
Yeah, still instruments. So I haven't counted those, but like percussion, I'm really into like rhythms and things like that. Mm-hmm. Especially if you travel to another country or whatever, and you find like little,
Yeah.
authentic instruments from that place and bringing those back. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are you going to talk about your drum playing?
No one cares about that. I am not a professional musician, but I did grow up playing music.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, everyone, if you can bang a tambourine, you're good. And that's the other part about music. So we're looking at it from a professional sense versus being who you are, artistry, right? And I tell people all the time, there's a lot of times if I show up, well, we don't do it as much anymore, but like some of my friends that play, if I'm bringing my guitar just for fun, even, I just throw a tambourine in there because you're there. You're like, hey, come play tambourine. You're having just as much fun as all the other musicians.
Yes.
Right? Come up and sing next to the mic with somebody else. You're having just as much fun. It's like all the karaoke stuff you do,
Karaoke.
I love karaoke, but no one's ever invited me up to sing.
Okay, I know what our weekend plans are then.
Yeah.
So is there a movie out there that you think about sometimes? You're like, oh, I wish I could have composed this soundtrack, because
I don't want to say the same movie because
except for the Gladiator, you can't use the Gladiator.
I like any Marvel films,
Oh yeah,
like all of them
yeah.
when
Me
it
too.
comes down to it.
Well, the scores make those. I mean, many
yeah.
films, the score makes it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so important. Like the audio is more important than the picture. I always tell students that.
Yeah.
It's like the score is key in sort of delivering the message that you're trying to, give with your film.
Yeah. And even like Star Wars, like it's the old Star Wars stuff is like what we're kind of like have an affinity to.
Yeah.
But then you have like Mandalorian and some of the other ones. I don't know if you guys know about Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But
Super familiar.
Yeah.
yeah,
love
so
that.
stuff like that when you listen to, in between the series, right, when they play the music,
Right.
I'm like, whoa, that's actually like awesome, right? And which got me into like watching a lot of those programs, those films again. Yeah, and then again, period films, where they have, or documentaries always have a different array of music that's happening.
Yeah.
Sometimes documentaries don't put a lot of it, effort into music a lot of times because they're just telling a random story.
Yeah.
And some things could be from the actual footage, right? That's in there.
Yeah.
But like things like that,
Yeah.
that I listen to.
And what do you prefer, or how do you feel about virtual instruments versus recording the actual instrument to make whatever whatever you want to make?
Like GarageBand?
Well, not.
Well, that will be a DAW, what they call a digital audio workstation,
Yeah.
which comes on. But virtual instruments, yes, would be in GarageBand. So you
Okay.
pull down a piano. I call myself preset boy, honestly, because I think quickly and I need to get it done quickly. Now, the way I came up, we did that, tweaking.
Yeah.
And again, my brother used to do that all day long. That was our biggest argument, you know, like spending all day trying to get a snare drum sound. I'm like, yo, I got to get this thing done. And again, this is back in old school when we didn't have all this technology. Now, what I like to do sometimes to feel better is I'll layer acoustic real instruments on top of virtual instruments. And depending on, or I'll, you know, let's say if it's a guitar part, right? You might play with the keys or whatever, or bass part in particular, that I might do slides. Or, you know, on a guitar, you'll hear all the strings squeaking.
Yeah.
So I might play those things on top of what I did to naturally feel that. And you can still program those things with most sense as well.
Yeah.
You know, all of those little elements, right? But I like to kind of just do it outside of playing a bass in particular on the keys is different from playing it live, because keys are like linear this way and the bass you're playing up and down this way. So naturally, because I understand how to play a bass, it makes me, you know, create on the keys. So in other words, I'd be creating a bass line that sounds like a real bass versus playing a bass line, you know, like, you know, it's just it's certain, you know, what's authentic and what's not. But I will like kind of have like real instruments for that reason, you know, slides or, you know, sliding all the way up and down the string to make that kind of effect for transitions and stuff like that, just to make it feel more real, you know. So. Me feel better. It's make me feel better. No, but I don't care. Like at this point, it's like if you can create, again, strings, am I going to, you know, record strings like that? I have, but would I do that when I'm trying to do a project? You know, if somebody doesn't have the budget to have an orchestra, you know, it's like some things you just don't know. Again, I think it's the ability to know how that instrument should be played is the difference. If you understand how it should be played, then you can recreate that digitally. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there a genre out there that you just have no interest in working on?
Unfortunately, like film music makes you have to work with everything. There's certain things that are like, you know, like trap music. I'll make trap music. Is it something that I really care that much about?
Right.
Again, there's only so much you can do with it because music like that is dependent on the lyric and the vocal and the talent on top of it. When you're doing music for film and TV, you're still creating that music. And a lot of times that library has a whole bunch of music, just like watching a reality show. You have like 5 seconds or 30 seconds or something. Sometimes it has vocal on it. Most times it doesn't. And it's just playing a bunch of music over and over. So not really many genres that I don't like. Just certain ones that I might resonate with more. But I do like being challenged a bit to do things. Because not everyone is like 100% good at everything, right? So, and I mean, I am.
Other than you.
I love that.
Did I say I'm a rock star? Did I say? Yeah, okay, just want to make sure you guys knew who you had on this guest today. No, but it's kind of one of those things where you got to kind of know better, and this is where you have a collective of other, you know, artists to collaborate with. You know, when you come over and do some vocals or something like that, or come play some drums on something. I do really appreciate working with other people, and that's the other part. If I'm a music supervisor on a film and I have the ability to call other people in, I do it for two reasons. One is the creative process is fun. Even though I might typically make all the music or create all the music, I do call on my friends for different things that they have. But it also allows other people, especially young people, to have an opportunity to get a cut, what we call a cut. Right? So, like, you don't really get to understand the business of anything unless you're kind of in there. So I'll use that opportunity for young people that aren't with the performing rights, like a performing rights organization, NASCAP, BMI, CSAC. Like, they don't even really think about it unless you actually have something that's going to broadcast. It's like publishing. Publishing is you know, a catch-22 in a way. It's like, people want their own publishing, but then you have to have something to be published in order to qualify for that with the performing rights organizations. So now it's a little bit easier with so much music coming out on Spotify. You can just put something out there and say, okay, hey, ASCAP, I just did this thing. And then you can go ahead and apply for that, you know, for your publishing status as far as having that with performing rights organizations. But it's mostly the experience for somebody to come in, especially, you know, if it's a documentary or something like that, where somebody can kind of come in and I can collaborate with them, then they can now go out and hunt for their own work.
They have some street cred.
They have some street cred. Yes. Like what's around this table right now. Yeah, no, and
Just
that's
don't call
a
V.
big deal. But it's a feeling of like bragging rights, street cred. It's a notch on your resume.
Absolutely.
You can say you did. You know, for me, it's like, you know, I'm never gonna run out of music to write. But business wise, I also try to get my mind back to where I can feel free creating as an artist, because like both sides of my brain have to go all day long. Versus when I first started doing music, when it was just fun. You know what I mean? Oh, I can't wait to record this song. Now I'm like, I think I'll go to sleep first.
Yeah. What would be like your biggest dream project to do, or someone to work with, or someone to tour with? Like, who's out there?
I
we
wanna
know you're a
tour.
rock star. We know that.
Yeah, no, but it's kind of interesting because touring sounds fun. It's only fun for a little while.
No, touring sucks.
It really does, yeah.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
Touring
I didn't tour, but I had to travel to
Traveling
many states,
sucks big time.
filming and loading, unloading equipment. It just sucks, but
Yeah, no, you know, it's funny. I don't really have any one person that I'd say I'd want to record
Wonder?
with. Yeah, people like that, like a Stevie,
yeah.
somebody, a good singer. You know, is Michael Jackson up there too high, right? No, like, it's just funny. Certain people that I really, really resonate with as artists kind of aren't here. I'm not really in love with anyone right now. You know, like a Beyonce or, you know what I mean? It's like, And I think part of it with me is just the politics of the business as well. You know, working on movies are fun. Movies are fun because you get to see it, you know?
Yeah.
Like you see it differently than just a song, you know? And again, it could be just I'm jaded too because of dealing with the business of things. You know, there's just politics in everything. And so, you know, just being, creating stability and sustainable ways for us to live as artists. I think I've been so consumed with that and advocacy and everything else. You know, and like, you know, staying away from the Diddy parties and all that kind of stuff. Can I say that? Can I say that?
You can
I'm like, if they call me to testify, I'm not going. I'm telling everybody, I'm not testifying.
He went there.
Yeah, no,
No, he didn't go there. He said that.
He said,
I didn't,
no,
no, I didn't go there. I didn't.
He never
No.
hung out with Diddy.
No, actually, no, I didn't hang out with Diddy.
Okay.
But yeah, everyone else is bad. That's why I know, like, okay, yep, I believe everything that they said.
Yeah.
Man.
It's all true. Trust me, it's all true. Can I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can, it's allegedly.
Nobody saw me say that, right? Is that it? Where it's, oh, it.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded.
There's cameras.
We've got records.
Yeah, you know, it's
started.
just, you know, it's wild because like sustainable ways to live in the industry, like a lot of things is such politics. Commercial production is business. It's the grind. It's getting out this relationships, you know, being on short list of, and that's been my goal, like a lot, just to say, hey, what relationships can I build? Who can I work with? So I have film people that I feel like I'm a go-to for in a lot of cases, definitely new people that I met even over this, you know, since this year, you know, that have projects or reached out and things like that.
He's
'Cause
talking
sometimes-
about me.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't even talk about you. Listen, I can't wait. I can't wait for us to pick up. We had the most amazing
We
conversation.
really did.
I don't care what anybody says.
It went into a place,
Yeah.
and we didn't even.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel really left
left
out.
out. I know. And it's not a black thing. It was just a
Did
moment.
I say it was black?
Well, I kind
You're
of
always
I-
like, you're racist.
I yeah.
Racist to people too. That's fine.
I don't think you can be racist.
Yeah. I don't think we can joke like that. We can't really joke with that one.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's like, see, I told you I could be racist.
Yeah, it's like, no, everyone.
No,
racism
no.
is bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Not be mean to people simply
Thumbs
because of
down.
how much
And for those of you
melanin
not
they
watching
have.
right now, I'm a bald head black guy. Just for the record.
So Malik can say.
And I am not.
I'm the safe bald head black guy in Boston.
You are.
Yeah, all day long. Yeah,
Okay.
but I grew up kind of rough. So
All right. Well,
People don't
how
get it.
Did
Don't
you
get it
go
twisted.
to college for music, or did you just jump right in after you got out
no,
of high
I
school?
actually never had a music class. I never had a formal music class in my life.
No
Which is
way.
crazy. But I did learn from working with the equipment, especially when technology came in, even programming drums. You know, it's all theory, how you have to program it. Yeah. And a fun story is I was, Kenny Loggins.
Oh yeah.
So I was a part of his local choir, I want to say, like when he came to Massachusetts or New England. And so I remember showing up. I got referred by another friend of mine and get referred to go to rehearsal. Music director hands me this chart. I'm like, what is this? What's going on? So I struggled through that day, and I went home and I was like, okay, what do I do? So I brought my computer back the next time and I recorded the whole rehearsal. And I went back and I just reverse engineer. In other words, I learned that if I can hear it and I can see a note, I know where the next note is just naturally how how things progress, right? How scales progress. And so I was able, I ended up doing the whole gig. Nobody knew it. And I ended up kind of training myself that way, but I could know what song that is. I could hear the note in my head. I can look at the little black dot and I can see if they're going up or down in the page, and I can naturally sing what that next note is because there's only one correct next note to sing. I think hopefully people understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Do you have,
know what I mean?
Do you have perfect pitch?
I think so for the most part.
It sounds like perfect pitch.
Yeah, like tuning an instrument and that kind of thing. Kind of like I can hear it in my head. But that was the thing. So if I know pitch-wise that it's a C, then I can actually look at those dots and I can tell how many dots are away and what that sounds like because I'm hearing it in my head. I'm actually singing it in my head as if it was a scale, right? So like that's something that I was like, oh, I can get through this gig, which I did, and I'm on stage with everyone, that was like a lot of fun. But doing that, but that's when I realized that, okay, I don't have to, sweat any of this stuff. Yeah. And as I got older anyways, as I got more, more experienced around other people, and I realized like people like Smokey Robinson or whatever didn't know how to read music at all, right? They wrote a million songs. And at that point, I remember when I did try to kind of do the theory thing on my own, and I got this book and it was like, name the white keys. And I'm like, by the time I do that, I would have finished this whole song. So I just closed the book. I was like, for goodness. Or somebody's like, what key did you write that in? I'm like, the black ones. Like, that's what I did. Right? Literally. Because that's what it is. So anyways, and I play guitar and bass and everything else the same way, where it's like literally there's certain patterns. Now, I didn't know that. I'm learning that, I've been playing these patterns all along because I can slide into a note that I know has to be right. Right? But for me to kind of go back and tell you what all that stuff theoretically. Now, I spend time on YouTube and TikTok and everything else looking at this stuff all day long because I'm fascinated by how people learn. Because my son, who is 13 now, he's in a program called Project Step, and he's 7 years into that program, and he has a scholarship. But he started out at 4.5, really 5 years old, and nobody knew I did music. So I would show up as a parent and be in that room with him. That's when I had to play, take cello for like 8 weeks before he started. But showing up in the room. And really like feeling like I don't want to be a stage dad, a stage mom and a stage dad.
Yeah.
Because I would never have sat down to learn music in my mind ever. It's like open up a baby book to learn how to read English. Like who's going to do that now, right? To really sit there and learn it. Yeah. We only do that if there's a child, to talk to. So that's what I did, where I just sat in that class and I took every note because he's only 5 years old anyway. So, we had to kind of, one parent had to be there. Yeah. So that's what I ended up doing. And that was the only way that I was secure enough to be in there to actually like say, okay, I can kind of learn this. And as I realized like, I know a lot of things that are kind of advanced, but I would have never known. But I want to know the baby stuff. I want to know like, how would you learn music if you knew nothing at all? So that was kind of fun. And I'm still doing it now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't even think I'm like equipped to be in the room with you. No, it's absolutely fascinating. I mean, and that's how the brain works, right? Like I can look at something and I can start writing in my head or directing in my head, and I know you can do the same thing. So, it's just how V hasn't gotten that yet, but he's trying.
It's all right. It's all right. But the other thing is getting over the fact that in those situations, getting over the fact that you're around other people that are brilliant musicians, right? Brilliant artists. And also me being secure with who I am and my way that I did it, right? So it's like, you could not, do you play any music at all?
I'm like you said, I'm a vocalist. I play a couple different instruments, but I'm not a musician.
Did we know that?
Oh, okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to switch seats.
No.
No, it's like, when you're in a room with someone, a lawyer or a doctor, right? Everyone has their shortcomings, right? And as we get older, we realize, oh, my high school friend's a doctor now, right? I have a drummer friend who's a plastic surgeon, right? Kind of cool. So you can learn to appreciate those things without feeling less than, which is what I try to do, again, with young people as well, because I think young people can have talents that are brilliant. I'm never going to look at myself and what I can do versus that 8-year-old and what they can do. They could be absolutely brilliant. Now when it comes to my experience and business knowledge and stuff like that, that's a little bit different. But anyone going in and with a competition has other mental health issues, right? Like that, nobody does that. But as me being me, as being a parent and going in with different directors and some of the, the teachers of the program, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant, amazing performers, at Symphony Hall and everything else is where, we actually practice there, like Symphony Hall every Saturday.
Wow.
Even being in that building, like I never went in that building when I was a kid unless I was stealing something outside, like literally, I maybe rode my bike around the sidewalks, but I never been in there. But literally being in those buildings around a lot of really accomplished people, but we all care about each other a lot. I'm a parent rep. I'm very mindful of what's happening with other parents and stuff like that. Again, even it's a black and brown string program, right? So everything that's happening with ICE and all these other things are things that I'm very mindful of and we talk about because there's language barriers and all these other things. So me doing what I do, especially in community, it's a big deal for me to kind of be there in that capacity, right? But then when, if I'm talking to a creative director, something like that, I still can feel confident about what I'm doing, in there. And again, some of the educators there on tour, they played in Grammy, stages and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun, and so I realized that, okay, we can all kind of coexist and support each other. I could still have an Emmy. But even that, I don't, it's still people see me online or whatever, but I'm literally just into everybody winning. You know what I mean? It's cool.
That.
It's on my resume, it's on my belt. We talked about this.
Yeah.
It's you're not a good human being, that cancels you out. You want to get canceled, just be a horrible human being.
Agreed.
Have no moral compass that's functioning.
Yeah.
Right? Some people have moral compasses that's not really functioning that well. But that's for me because I feel like I've done a lot of stuff, I'm not this celebrity guy or whatever. I'm a rock star. You can still be a rock star and not a celebrity.
True. Correct.
Right. But I look at that and say what are we here for? Right. I don't know if we talked about that, after cool, what do we have after being cool? All of us are cool. So I kind of function based off of that and kind of playing my position in whatever room I'm in, because that room might be me here and you guys are, wrapping up chords and I'm wrapping up chords because we do gigs and that's what we do, we do production stuff. So that's how I try to kind of be in any space. And I'm kind of a clown anyways, not full disclosure. I tell people this all the time. Some people don't believe me, but I'm 99.9% clown.
Good to know.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I love meeting people, and that's a part of personality. Sharing people's personalities. You're not going to act that way with somebody that's not reciprocating that, right? You're not going to talk smack about somebody that's not reciprocating. That's rude.
Except you can do that with V.
Good to know.
That's
Good
his
to
job.
know.
That's what I'm here
Job
for.
title.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
extra
Malik
ribs.
Williams. We could just keep talking and talking and talking, but this was fantastic, and I learned a lot. And I do have one favor. We didn't talk about this beforehand.
Dun dun dun.
It is Rochelle and I's biggest dream to have you sing Ebony and Ivory for us.
That's a lie. That is not my dream.
Yeah, we're gonna find that. Hey Siri. Exactly.
No, but with all seriousness, is there something that you can sing us out with? It doesn't have to be Ebony and Ivory, but I'm putting you on the spot because you're a rock star, and that's what happens.
If anyone sees this, they'd say, like, what song would I normally sing? Yeah, a Prince song?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Do we have any lighters on the house?
I never meant to cause you any sorrow. I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted one time see you laughing. I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
It's purple, y'all. It's purple, y'all.
Is that your back?
Purple rain, purple rain.
Not blue, not red, not white, not black.
Purple rain, purple rain.
You don't know it. Now you know it.
I only want to see you bathing in the purple rain. I never want to be your weekend lover.
Yeah.
No. I only want to be some kind of friend. Hey. Baby, I can never steal you from another. It's such a shame our friendship had to end. Purple rain, yeah. Purple rain. That's so okay. That was fun.
That was fun.
Wow.
That was a first for us, and I'll tell you what, it was magical.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dang.
Oh, Malik Williams.
Anyways, yeah, so
Thank
like
you.
my goal is to get back to being me and being an artist and doing what I do. But everything I write, I sing.
Yeah.
Just that people only see the name on the credit. So it's fun if I have a guitar in my hand and rocking out.
Yeah.
So,
All
that's,
right.
so we'll have to do that episode too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Please.
absolutely.
Jam.
Oh, this was so much fun. Thank you
was.
so much.
Thank you for
I
having me.
learned
I was
so
excited
much.
to come here.
It was great. I think I want to go to music school now.
You should.
What do you think I should play?
Tuba.
Such a jerk. Just such a jerk.
Tuba. I even went to band camp. I should.
Did you go to band
I
camp?
went to band camp. Yeah. In North Dakota South Dakota at the Mount Rushmore. It was called Mount Rushmore Music Camp.
It explains just so much. Like it fills in all of those blank spaces.
It does. I am a complete
So you
dork.
did go to band. Remember that one time at band camp?
Yes.
Remember that?
I was trying to think of like what that was. You remember that one? There was this one time at band camp.
Now we have the entire story.
Yeah. Well,
And
you don't
that's-
know what happened at band camp.
Ooh.
Well,
And that's the short of it.
Booyah. Sidekick out.
The short of it is brought to you by the Den Beauty Lounge. Visit thedenbeautylounge.glossgenius.com for more information and book your appointment today.